Hey guys, this is another find from my Chicago trip. This is a Locke DF-482. I'm not sure what the D stands for. I'm assuming the F is fan. It's 48 inch. Don't know what the 2 stands for either. So these are distinctive because of their blade shape. You can see that blade shape is pretty unusual. We refer to them as baseball bat blades. And these were made by Evergo and or Union, probably Evergo. But with rare exception, these blade shapes are only seen on Locke labeled fans. There is actually a patent on the blade shape, so it'd be interesting to look up and see if that patent is given to Locke or to somebody else. I have it saved somewhere in my computer, but I can't remember. This one is unusual because the motor is cast iron. Every single other one of these that I've seen has a cast aluminum motor, and the ones not labeled Locke with the more normal shaped blades, some of those are cast iron, some are cast aluminum. Occasionally a Locke will turn up with normal shaped blades, and some of those are cast iron, those are cast aluminum, but it is uncommon to find this is the only one that I've ever found with a cast iron motor and these shape of blades. Only one that I know of, unless you count the Evergo labeled ones with the switch housing, which are the exception to everything. Those are just weird anomalies anyways. So I pulled this out of a house in Chicago that was being torn down. Pretty cool house, very small, very low ceiling, so this thing hung, I would hit my head on it. Wood beams, fake wood beams in the ceiling, but very cool, very vintage looking. Gave them $5 for it, and they afterwards asked me if it was valuable, and I didn't really know what to say because not technically, I don't think enough collectors want these to call them valuable, but they are pretty cool. There's one in the museum, and again, they're not super rare, super sought after, but the reason I put one in the museum is because I wanted to have an example of a fan that had an industrial motor with wood blades and no switch housing, no housing cover like a top mount or anything like that, just straight motor blades. These are the most unusual of those examples, at least of the ones that I had. So, got the original control here, and we're going to give that a try with the amp meter, and we'll also try the 4-speed control and the solid state control. So let's crank that to speed 5.35. It's rated at 0.7 amps, by the way. These do not go particularly slow on low, especially with the stock control. Haven't done anything to this other than clean the dust off the bottom of the motor. I didn't even clean the dust off the top of the motor, haven't oiled the bearings, haven't tested it before. So this is what we got here. Still 0.35. Let's go to speed 4. This is a transformer-based control for those who don't know, with 4 different taps, and then speed 1 is just a direct short. That's pretty fast for a medium-low. Let's go to speed 3, which is a direct medium, 0.5. I'm feeling some air from it. Speed 2, 0.56, so these are very small increments. And then speed 1 is 0.73, so that's a bigger jump. And that does whip some air around. It's going quite fast. I think it's like, these are rated at like 300 RPM. Let's see if we can feel anything on the commercial test. There's a lot of factors why we might not be able to, not the least of which is there's heaters and air and everything else. Yeah, I feel something from it. It's not a strong breeze by any means, but I can tell that it's going. Okay. That was that control. Let's see if I can switch controls while it's spinning down. You guys probably know I've not had good history with that, but that's not going to stop me from trying each and every time. Got the 5-speed control disconnected. Let's bring on the 4-speed control, which is capacitor based. For those who have not seen my million other videos where I talk at great length about controls and capacitors and other things that I like. Let's see if I can just successfully plug this control in. Yep, looks like we're ready to go. Didn't do anything to these bearings, so they must be in pretty good shape. They're silent, and the spin down time is good, and it's colder than 40 degrees up here. Don't know exactly what the temperature is, and I should be wearing my stocking cap, but I'm not, and I'm just now realizing that I didn't. So anytime bearings perform well when it's colder, that's always encouraging. Okay. 4-speed control, amp meter. So, start it all the way on low, 0.24. So that's slower and less current draw than it is with the transformer-based control, but the aluminum version of these, which I have in another video, the one that went in the museum, I believe that was slower than this on the lowest speed with the capacitor control. So that's interesting. 0.24 still. I would like it a little slower than that if it were me, but it's not a bad low speed. Let's go to medium-low. 0.44. And that's a notable increase. It's actually a pretty good medium-low for this type of fan. I think this control is going to give us a decent range of speeds. A little bit on the fast side for me, but decent. It's quite a bit on the fast side, actually, for medium-low. That's more of a solid medium. Let's go to medium-high. 0.58. So that's, I believe, faster than any of the speeds on the 5-speed control, or at least pretty close to speed 2. And then high, which 0.74. We know what high looks like, but I'll let it rev up. It's blowing lots of cold air on me, which is great when it's already cold. Let's drop down to 0.69, by the way. Okay, cut it off. Once again, I'm going to try to switch controls while filming the spin down, so my apologies for the jerky cameraing. I'm going to keep, I think, the 5-speed control here so that I can test various industrial fans with it. I have a whole box of those 5-speed controls somewhere that came from various different fans, because I never use them. I don't like them. I like capacitor-based controls for permanent installation. But, okay, got the infinitely variable control ready for us. And just dropped it on the ground. Okay, here's the infinitely variable control. And it is easier to do it with the controls in my lap when I'm having the camera in the other hand. So let's go all the way to the lowest possible setting, which is 0.1. I'm pretty sure we're going to stall out there, so let's give it a chance to stop. Or maybe not. It seems to be taking quite a while to stop. If it's going to stop, let's give it a chance to see. Nope, I guess so. Either that or it wouldn't have stopped but doesn't have enough torque. Start back again. So I'm going to inch it up Just gradually started at 0.5. Is it gonna stall? Looks like it. Now, part of the thing might also be that the grommet is very old and worn, and so it's very loose on the J-hook. So it's working against, like, when in trying to push the blades forward, the motor's pushing back, and that makes it harder to start on slower speeds. I don't know if that makes sense. It makes sense in my head. So with a new grommet, might actually be able to get it to start on a lower setting than that. It's pretty silent for being on a variable speed control. Usually the cast iron ones are. This one does not have the paper washers between the blade brackets and the motor, so I thought it might be a little noisy. We'll see when we get to some higher speeds. Let's go up 1/8 of a turn, which takes us to 0.26. Nope, still pretty quiet. I mean, I hear some noises, but it's hard to tell what's coming from the fans, the heaters, the fluorescent lights, the heater downstairs. I think a little bit of it's from the fan. Let's go another 1/8 of a turn, which takes us to 0.35. So this is actually really good on a solid-state speed control. Some of these aren't. This one is. I must say I'm impressed. I'm not getting any noise from it at all. Let's go up another 1/8 of a turn. Yeah, that thing is freaking silent. If there is a little bit of buzz, it's negligible. I would use that in my bedroom on a solid-state control. Let's go another 1/8 of a turn. And then high. And then off. Okay, well, if I do want to hang one of these on a solid-state control, this would be the one to do. I have no immediate plans for this one. The one that isn't now in the museum was in my bedroom growing up. I found it at a garage sale when I was pretty young. Probably not soon after I started. I started collecting around 4th grade, and I found it probably within a year or two of starting collecting, so either 4th or 5th grade. And it hung in my bedroom for years. Excuse me. So, I can't remember what I took it down to replace it with. At one point I took it down and replaced it with a Union labeled version. Prior to it, I had a Tradewinds American Pride thing there. Before that, I think I had my SMC DC-42, which was the fan that my dad put there. Okay, thanks for watching.